Bullying is a major problem around the world today. Bullies often scar a victim for life, and all the painful words that have been said to them are never forgotten. What bullies aren't aware of are how their actions harm more than just the victim. The victim could become depressed at home, and their parents could become really worried for them. When bullies are popular, peers begin to befriend the bully and join in on the act of bullying. Or often they are afraid to defend the victim and they just ignore the whole entire situation because they're worried about risking their popularity status. Often, victims are perceived as super nice and really sensitive. Bullies usually aren't going to ridicule someone that they aren't confident that they can defeat. And that's where special ed kids come into play. To a general ed student, they are viewed as weaker. And in a bully's mindset, it's often okay to bully a challenged student because the student isn't aware of what's going on. Which that's totally sad, because that shouldn't have to happen, and people need to take a stand and stand up for the special ed people, because they are the most beautiful people I know. Like, if you spent one day hanging out with them, you would just realize how precious that they are. Bullying occurs in many different ways. People get bullied for being too fat or too ugly, too sensitive, too awkward, whatever the case may be. Bullies are causing overweight people to starve themselves. People who are considered ugly tend to put on a whole bunch of makeup or try to change who they are just so they can fit in. When a bully tells a victim that they aren't good enough, or they bully or ridicule them, to an insecure person, it's all over. They will never feel good enough or pretty enough, which is really, really sad, because everyone's beautiful in their own way, and nobody should ever have to feel like they're not good enough, because you're good enough just the way you are. Once a bully finds a victim's insecurity and uses it against them, the victim feels doomed, as if there is no way out. If their worst enemy knows their deepest and darkest secrets, it's a start to making their life miserable. Here's where the question comes into most adults. Why do bullies bully? Do they really think they are better than everyone else? Do they get mistreated at home and want someone else to feel their pain? The questions go on and on and on, and they all lead to the root cause that they are hurting inside themselves. No matter what humans go through, the pain we experience in the rough days, it doesn't give us a right to make someone else miserable. Yes, we aren't perfect, but there is a difference between having a bad day and bullying someone whenever you get the chance to. I can't explain how often I see someone getting taunted and nobody ever stands up for the victim. We live in a society where bullying is normal. People witness someone being bullied every day. I've heard the saying a million times, being bullied is a part of growing up. To their defense, kids don't get a chance to enjoy growing up when they're being bullied, and oftentimes end up resorting in cutting themselves or even going as far as suicide. If a bully was put in the victim's shoes, they would be in shock of how terrible it really feels to be bullied. Just because bullying happens all the time doesn't make it okay to happen. How can someone get such joy and satisfaction out of harming another human being? It's really not humane at all, just to think about it. It's not okay for one person to feel worthless of life or of happiness. Imagine one person getting bullied every day at your school. Then think about all of the schools nationwide and around the world. That equates to thousands of kids getting bullied on the daily, with just one person at each school being bullied. Every time a victim gets bullied, their self-esteem goes down to the point where they start believing everything negative being said to them, which is so sad. I can't imagine. And to make it more realistic, if you have never been bullied, think about a time you have seen someone else being bullied, or all the times in your life you have heard someone being degraded. Imagine believing every word and every syllable that someone said about you. What if every thought someone else thought about you started to define who you were? What a horrible thought to picture what new lie they are going to start believing about themselves every day. I personally can remember things people have said to me from years ago when I was bullied, and words are powerful. You remember them. Are you going to make a negative or a positive impression on the world? Are you going to take a stand against bullying? Or are you going to sit back and turn on the TV the next day to find out that another innocent child has committed suicide because they felt as if they had no purpose in the world? God made every individual with a purpose and with a talent. Every single person in the world has something beautiful to offer, no matter what it is or how different it may be. I can't imagine how sad the victim's parents must feel to know that their child was in so much pain that they felt as if they couldn't even take another day here on earth. The main point I'm trying to address is that bullying is costing the lives of precious people here on earth. All it takes is one person to say, I love you and I accept you for who you are. You don't need to change who you are to be accepted or to fit in. Just be confident in yourself. Whenever someone is down in the dumps, they thrive and long for encouragement just to even know that one person cares. For me, my spirituality keeps me strong, knowing that God loves and cares for me. When people don't feel love, they tend to seek love in dangerous places and become vulnerable to getting hurt. To take a stand against bullying, there should be support groups. Nobody should ever have to feel like they are alone in this world. There is always hope, and you have been blessed with the ability to bring hope and sunshine into the heart of an individual. Use your strengths to embellish someone else's weakness.